Welcome to Swish and Flick, an all Potter podcast.
Swish and flick. Everyone? Swish and flick.
Hello and welcome to episode 13 of Swish and Flick. I'm Sarah.
I'm Katie.
I'm Megan.
And I'm Tiffany.
Today we will be
And that's a lie.
I'm tired. Okay, but for reals. Today we will be discussing chapter 13 of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Nicolas Flamel. So make sure that you have read the chapter and you're ready to dive into the details. Before we begin, let's go to Megan for the weekly profit.
The real Megan.
The real Megan. Okay, I can do that.
Can you be Megan?
Can you
I
be
can.
yourself?
Yes. So, the news this week is that Jude Law has officially finished his filming of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them 2.
Yay. Is that what it's called? That's
Oh,
the
just-
title?
No,
She hasn't
I think it's
released
a
it.
Oh,
title.
okay. I was like, that's awful.
Yeah. So the movie presumably... Sarah.
Sorry.
Excuse you.
The movie presumably is still in production because it's very doubtful that the entire movie was completed in less than 3 months. But Jude Law is finished with his role.
Who's he playing again?
He plays a younger version of Albus Dumbledore, a role made famous by Richard Harris and Michael Gambon in the Harry Potter movies.
He's a real role model.
He's a well-stand-up guy.
Do you know who Richard Harris's like kind of brother-in-law is, but not? Like, so
What?
his brother.
What does that mean,
His
first of all?
brother died when he was like young, like 40s. His wife got remarried to Pierce Brosnan, and so his two oldest kids he adopted, but were Harris's kids, Richard Harris's niece and nephew.
Why do you know that?
Because I looked it up the one day. Because I do these things. So,
I'm sorry.
so he married his wife. She died of ovarian cancer. Her daughter, who he helped raise once, I don't know how old she was when they got married. She died of ovarian cancer. Then he has a son that's like actually Richard Harris's actual nephew, and then him and his wife have a son together.
That's a lot
Yeah,
It's a lot of knowledge.
of information.
So,
Thank you, Ravenclaw.
you're welcome.
up next for Jude Law is Woody Allen's latest feature, which is currently shooting in New York City. And the above-mentioned project with Reed Morano, he's joining Blake Lively in this movie called Rhythm Section.
Interesting. Is that about drums?
I have no idea. So, yeah, that's exciting. And also thank you to Snitch Seeker for the article. And I'll post it for you guys.
And he was spotted with a short beard.
A short beard.
Well, and didn't people take pictures with him too?
I don't know
Like,
about.
that's
I believe so.
I
did
don't.
see
You know
that, I
me.
think.
I don't know celebrity stuff.
Well, sadly, it's my entire life.
Your entire life?
Pretty much. He was pictured he took pictures with like fans
Oh, I'm
somewhere,
sure
and they were like, "Oh,
yeah.
that must be like." They were talking about him filming in a specific location, but unfortunately, I don't.
Lake Hawk Abbey, I believe, is where people spotted him.
And I've heard it be referred to as Dumble Scruff.
Oh,
I love
cute.
it.
I'm
like
so
it.
excited, and I'm so excited to see him and Grindelwald. Right?
They better not mess this up.
Yeah.
It'll be
Pressure's
interesting,
on.
especially to see because sorry, don't kill me. Grindelwald is Johnny Depp, correct?
Yeah. And
I'm
he's-
just so interested to see the two of them together.
I
It'll
agree.
be interesting. To
I
see
really love Johnny
the whole
Depp,
thing.
but he looks awful as Grindelwald.
Yeah, he
It's
does.
interesting.
I will say,
It's the mustache that
I've
gets me.
seen him look worse in other films.
I was just
I think
gonna
he
say,
looked better
does
in
he
Edward
ever-
Scissorhands.
I was gonna say, does he ever look normal in any role that he's in?
Yes.
I love him in Pirates. He's so hot.
Oh,
in
he's
Pirates.
so good in Pirates. What is it called?
Chocolat. He looks good.
Shoot.
Forgot about that movie.
It's the one. I'll think of it. Keep
Secret
talking.
Window. He kind of.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Secret
he just
Window.
looks sad.
He's.
/ crazy.
That movie is so gross.
What,
I just
Secret Window?
seal clapped, by
Yeah.
the way, and no one caught it. No?
I'm sorry.
Bueller?
Bueller.
Bueller. Okay,
What
anyways.
movie is that?
Secret, Window.
Or are you talking about Bueller? That's Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I know. I don't like that movie.
Kicked off. We need a new Slytherin.
I don't like old movies.
It's not even old.
Yes, it is.
We have to move on before I hurt someone.
Stuck
Is that all we have for Weekly Prophet today? Okay, Megan, turn your mic off. We'll see you later. Just kidding.
I'll be reading the part of Megan for the rest of this episode.
I have unpopular opinions on movies, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you really do. All right, so let's go into our chapter recap from the previous episode.
So last episode we spent Christmas with Harry and Ron while they forgot to keep looking for whoever Nicolas Flamel is. Harry got presents for Christmas, first time ever, real presents, including an invisibility cloak with a mysterious note. Harry had the best Christmas of his life, and he used his cloak for the first time, and he saw his parents for the first time in his life when he found the Mirror of Erised.
Well done.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, convinced by Dumbledore not to go looking for the mirror again, Harry kept his cloak in his trunk. Harry wished he could forget the mirror and what he saw. His nightmares started to come back, the ones with his parents in the green lights. Hermione is back from her break and is half mad that Harry snuck out at night and half annoyed that he didn't find any information on Nicolas Flamel. Lessons have started again, and Harry is even busier than usual between looking for information on Flamel, his work for his classes, and Wood has them practicing even more for Quidditch. Wood tells him that the team that Snape will be the ref for the next game. Harry tells Ron and Hermione, and they all will tell him not to play for the game, or not to play in the game. After an altercation with Malfoy, Ron tells Neville he needs to stand up for himself, and while telling him that, Hermione runs into the common room to tell them she has found Flamel in a book. She shows them the book that he found him in, and they come to the conclusion that Fluffy is guarding the Sorcerer's Stone. Nicolas Flamel is the maker of said stone. The Quidditch match has started. Snape is reffing the game. Dumbledore has come to watch, so Harry is relieved, and Ron is ready to jinx Snape in case he wants to try any funny business to kill Harry. Draco starts to egg on Ron and Neville takes Ron's advice and tells Draco off. Harry catches the snitch, and Gryffindor wins the game. When Harry's leaving the pitch, he notices Snape and a hooded figure heading towards the forest. So Harry hops on his broom and follows them into a clearing to eavesdrop on the two professors. Snape is questioning Quirrell and asking him if he's figured out how to get past Hagrid's dog, and tells him why they will have that they will have another chat soon. Harry goes back to the common room and has Ron and Hermione come with him so he can tell them what he heard Snape and Quirrell say to each other.
All right. It's a lot of stuff, but not as much as the last episode.
Yeah, the last chapter had so much jam packed in it.
It really did. It really did.
Sorry that one was so long, guys.
We're not
Hopefully
sorry.
you liked it.
Sorry, I'm
We're
not
not
sorry.
sorry.
Hopefully you didn't get bored with it.
We're not boring.
We hope.
We hope we're not.
Right. So Harry hasn't touched his cloak since the last night adventure because Dumbledore basically convinces him, that it's really not a good idea because the mirror can drive you insane.
Bonkers.
Right. And it happened to him within 3 days.
Yeah. One day, really.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. After he forced himself away from it, you could just see it was all he could think about. So it's a good thing that he got away from it.
I don't blame him for wanting that, though.
No,
Right.
no.
Especially, thinking about what he has in terms of a home.
Yeah,
Hogwarts is his home.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
yeah,
What he has to go back to in the summer.
Ugh.
Yeah.
yeah. And just being able to he has never seen anybody in his family besides
Petunia.
good old
Ugh.
Horseface. Just to see all those
And I
people.
wonder, Petunia has to have pictures of Lily somewhere.
No,
Has
I
she
bet
just?
you she burned them.
I bet she
Do you
did.
think she has, or is she are they buried in the attic or
No.
something?
I bet she got rid of them.
I bet you anything besides Harry that ties her to that family, she torched.
Vernon would have made sure that whatever
they had a
she
big
had,
bonfire in the backyard.
he would have gotten rid of it.
Well, thank God for Hagrid later.
Potter Pyro.
True. What?
Potter Pyro in the backyard.
So sad.
Potter Pyro.
That's so sad. All the memories that Harry could have seen and had of his mom, she probably destroyed them.
It'd be so interesting to see what his life would have been had his her parents
And Harry would have been raised by them.
even if he was still raised by Petunia and them, just to have something else.
To have somebody else to keep her accountable for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
be interesting.
Definitely.
We digress.
Right. So he starts having these nightmares about his parents disappearing in a flash of green light and a high voice cackling
What does that mean?
with laughter.
So sad.
Evil. Is this the first time we get a laugh, a voice?
I think.
I think it is.
Yeah. and-
Before he had seen a flash of green light, but I think that the voice is new now.
Yeah. And it's usually, I mean, in the later books, I know it's described as high and cold always. But this, I guess, when we see the first, I see you, girl. We see like the first instance where the voice is described as high.
It's interesting to think that clearly, subconsciously at least, he remembers some of when his parents were killed. And then, do you remember the thing we saw about Neville remembering? Because he talks about in the 4th book with the, they open the egg in the common room. And it's shrieking, and he's like, "Oh my God, they're gonna have to fight the Cruciatus Curse." And people are like, "Wait, why would he? Why would he know that?" And you have to think back, like, "Oh my God, he remembers what his parents like sounded like when they were getting tortured, and
Was
he
he
was the
there?
same age."
We don't know.
We don't know where it happened.
We
Yeah.
don't know what did happen.
How? It doesn't say in the books that he was there or that he remembers. Someone just made that conclusion, like, of why would Neville, a 14-year-old boy, know the sound of the Cruciatus Curse? So it's interesting that like they're making this correlation in that book to him remembering something traumatic and now thinking of like all of Harry's dreams and how he remembers.
Well, now I'm like super curious as to how that played out because I've never actually thought about that.
Yeah, same.
That's for another episode, but
Well,
it just
yeah.
it was interesting to me. It makes a connection between the two of them, that he clearly, on some level, remembers the night that his parents were killed, even though he was so little. But that was the same night that, right? Or right around then, it was the same timing.
It's the same time
at
frame.
least. Yes.
So you're thinking he was there? Thinking this
Neville?
happened at their house?
If it, not at his house, like how would he know what the sound of someone being tortured by the Cruciatus Curse
Did the
sounds like?
bug make any sound when Moody did it?
A little, but not. I mean, it. Like,
I don't think
wouldn't
not
have-
enough
I
to
mean,
get him like
it
the-
like squealed.
the
At
description
least
of
in the
Ron
movie.
and the description of Ron in the book was like not Ron. The description of Neville in the book was like he like went ghostly pale, like was terrified, not of like, oh my
clearly
God,
it-
some bug. Like he heard a human being being tortured.
Clearly it
and
called
that's
to
the same
something.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can put that as a theory. I like it.
It's an interesting thought.
I don't like it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, Tiffany.
Well, I'm not that evil.
We're also now looking for a new Gryffindor. Whole new team.
You're such a dork. And so Ron is definitely in agreement that the mirror can drive you mad. And I really like this part about Hermione because she was upset that they were roaming around, but she was also upset that they didn't find anything while they were doing all this rule breaking.
I love that you slowly see her change. You know what I mean?
She's so starting to change. Yeah, she's like, oh my gosh, what are you're roaming around the school, like, and you didn't find anything, like,
it wasn't
Like, at
even
least,
worth it.
Yeah, at least
Gosh.
make it worth it.
really though.
In
And
their
so,
defense, they weren't really looking for Flamel too much because they forgot.
True.
oh yeah, they completely forgot. And actually, completely related, but I wonder how much Ron dwelled on what he saw. Because we see with Harry, I mean, we only get his inner
in
thoughts.
Harry's head, but we're not in Ron's
But-
head.
He's got to be thinking about it.
But
I would
maybe
think,
he.
'Cause that's what it does.
But maybe he even says because he says to Ron or Harry. Ron says to himself
I said to self.
like.
Self.
Because he feels himself going in that direction of being like, oh my God, I want this, I want this, I want to keep looking at myself like that. And he comes from a family where he's seen all of his brothers do all these great things that he has seen himself maybe go down that path before and is like, I'm just going to try to do me and worry about myself. And so I want to make sure that Harry doesn't go down a path that I can see both of us going down.
I'm shocked that Ron would think that, though. He just, because, like, Ron seems to be one that grabs temptation. You know? Like, if you're thinking about, like, his personality with jealousy and temptation to leave his friends in a dire circumstance in 7, like, he has major weaknesses, but they make him who he is. I'm not saying that they're awful. They don't make him an awful person, but he does have weaknesses, and maybe I don't know. I just find it hard to think that he would have the willpower to stay away from that desire.
I was first.
Go on.
My hand is raised. You have to remember that when he left them, that Horcrux was on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So even though, yes, he is that way, that intensified it like crazy. So I think had he not been wearing it, he would have stuck around. He still would have been annoyed. And
well, as soon as he took it off and he left, he wanted to come back.
he tried.
Correct.
Right.
But he still had those thoughts. And and Ron even admitted.
Right.
He said, I was thinking those things, but not as strongly.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm
unless
saying.
I had the Horcrux on.
Yeah. So I don't think he would have left if he...
In defense of Ron, and I mean it kind of here too, is that he knows himself maybe so well that he's like, this is my personality, and I know that I can go down this dark path by like thinking those things and wanting all this stuff where like maybe his personality is like, I'm just going to choose to like be the different person and go against all these things that I'm feeling, because he's thinking to himself, she really loves Harry more than me. She wants him and not me and whatever. And now that Horcrux is like, no, you're right. She does love Harry more than you. She wants to be with him.
Yeah, just
so
bet
maybe when the Horcrux is not on him, he's like, he has that other side where he's like, you know what? She does love him like a brother. Yes,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So like, he has that aspect of his personality that can be like, you're being ridiculous. I don't know.
Yeah,
Pulls
and
himself back from
Some
it.
people have that ability to just like shut stuff down. Mm-hmm. I envy those kind of people because I feel like that's a good trait to have if you just need to like self-regulate. But I don't know. Ron be Ron.
I love Ron.
Yep. And Harry is thinking to himself that he has heard the name Nicolas Flamel before, and he has.
What?
Yeah.
Is it because I told him?
Sure.
I called him up on the hello phone.
So the trio continues to search for Flamel during their breaks, and Harry is spending most of his free time training for Quidditch. And then, during one muddy evening, Wood broke some bad news to the team. Snape was set to referee the next match.
Dun, dun, dun!
Why would anybody give him that job? Like, I understand, at the end of the book, we find out why he did it, because he was doing it to, like, hopefully protect Harry. But at the same time, like, first of all, as McGonagall, I would be pissed. Second,
I think she was mad, wasn't she?
yeah, and I can't believe she wouldn't have fought it more.
She probably
I can't
did
believe
fight
that Dumbledore okayed that. Like, Dumbledore could have refereed the match.
He probably trusted Snape more to rough it than he did.
Do you think McGonagall knew anything about, like, their little scheme?
I don't think so.
I don't know, maybe, because she's part of the Order of the Phoenix later on, and I think that...
deputy headmistress.
Yeah, and I think that Dumbledore confides a lot in her.
I mean, maybe later on she knew, but I don't know if right now she knows that he's like trying to be.
Maybe.
I don't know. Who knows?
Because you got to
tell
figure
us.
she would have been like putting up a real fight. Because I mean,
she
she's not
probably
afraid
was.
of like saying how she feels.
Right. So upon hearing this news, George literally falls off of his broom and like eats a ton of mud. I love it. And he asks when he has ever refereed. Like, does Snape even know anything about Quidditch? He definitely does not seem the type to know much of anything.
He doesn't strike me as knowing sports.
No.
Probably doesn't care.
Wood says that they just need to play a clean game, so there's no excuse for Snape to pick on them. So I say that's basically impossible. I don't think that it's possible for them to play a clean game where Snape literally sees nothing. I mean, they end up kind of proving me wrong there, but I just think that it's really hard. That would be difficult.
I think it'd be a different story if the game had lasted longer.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They had the right strategy with that.
Yeah, I don't think he would have been calling any like
No.
fouls for Gryffindor.
So Harry headed straight to the common room after practice ended and told Ron and Hermione about Snape refereeing. Ron and Hermione, I think this is kind of cute. They were playing chess, and Hermione is not good at chess at all. And it's noted that Harry and Ron think that that's good for her.
I agree.
I
Isn't
agree.
it kind of weird though? Usually, very bright people are good at it, but I guess it's strategy and stuff. I don't know. I just
Maybe-
figured she would be good at it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe she's too in her head about it.
Maybe she overthinks things. Yeah. So Ron suggests to Harry that he should say that he's sick, and then Hermione just flat out tells him not to play. But Harry does not want to back out because if he doesn't play, then Gryffindor has to forfeit because there's no reserve seeker, and he's not about that life.
Yeah, you know why? Because he's a Gryffindor.
Yeah.
Boom.
Stubborn,
Still not as good
Oh.
as Ravenclaw.
strong-headed,
You're right.
strong.
Cool.
Ravenclaw's
Awesome.
for the win.
Best person on the podcast.
Harry's not on our podcast.
I am Harry.
Okay.
You're Harry Potter.
Yeah, didn't you know?
I don't see your scar.
That guy at the tattoo shop said he'd give it to me for free, and I was like, I think I'm okay with having.
You got like a
Scar?
glow in the dark one on your forehead.
Yeah, he's like, I'll give you the scar right. Oh, you weren't up with us. And
Yeah.
I was like, I'm okay. I don't need that.
He's like,
Thank
I
you.
would do that for free.
Oh my
Yeah, because
god!
it take you. Bzz, bzz.
Also,
And
you're
that's- and it
tattooing
would be
someone's
ridiculous.
forehead.
That's the sound of a tattoo needle.
So Neville comes toppling into the common room because Malfoy had hit him with a leg locker curse because he's a jerk. And Ron tells him that he needs to stand up for himself. And Neville said, "There's no need to tell me I'm not brave enough to be in Gryffindor. Malfoy's already done that." And Harry feels bad and gives him a chocolate frog and tells him he's worth 12 of Malfoy. And reminds him that the Sorting Hat chose him for Gryffindor. And where's Malfoy? In stinking Slytherin.
And
Sorry, Meg.
stinking from your wife's mouth.
Hey, it's a quote.
She means it though.
Yeah, you know, you I can
I
feel
love
it. I
my
can feel
Slytherin.
the emotion behind that.
She loves her stinky Slytherin.
So I think it's cool to point out that none of them know, and we have no idea at this point either, that Neville had begged the Sorting Hat to put him in Hufflepuff. And I think that this shows just... Thanks, Sarah.
Sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
That was great.
It shows that he needs his support from his friends because it truly can change somebody for the better. And it's also...
Like, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Just like thinking about that, like how much Neville blossoms in the 5th book.
Blossom.
You know,
Or,
It's just-
once he left Hogwarts, oof, he really blossomed into a hot guy.
And not only that, Neville blossoms in 5, and then because of how he is in 5, his grandma like finally accepts him.
That's so sad. Why
know.
can't people just love their family for who they are?
Love your kids
know.
for who they are.
But she does end up being extremely proud of him.
And she even
Okay.
comes and fights in the Battle of Hogwarts and is like, "I'm gonna go fight with my grandson."
Who'd she
I know
kill?
she should have been proud of him from the start.
Love Neville.
But that does break my heart when I read that. I was like, because I totally forgot about all of that, and I was like, oh, Neville, you belong here.
And you see him be brave when he does tell Malfoy to essentially shove off.
May I interject something?
Yes.
Okay. So when we were recording the last episode, I noticed that there were 12 trees, Christmas trees. And then it just brought up the number 12 again. So I was like, what's 12 mean? And
At
it
3, we have 7, we have 12.
yeah,
6 plus 6.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
Or 11 plus 1.
What? No,
or
that's
10
not
plus
true.
2.
All right,
Plus 4.
keep going, guys. How many ways can we make 12?
3 times 4.
It says
13 minus 1.
I was going to say that. Oh.
Tiffany
24
is
divided by
gonna
2.
kill us.
Are you all ready?
Yes.
It says
36
it's
divided by 3.
all right. Turn your mic off. Turn it off. It's the symbol of cosmic order.
Huh.
12 is the number of space and time.
12 uses of dragon's blood.
Oh!
You guys, I'm just saying. But also this. Oh, well, that's creepy. Never mind. I don't want to read that.
Okay.
No, but this website is mysticalnumbers.com.
All right.
So mysticalnumbers.com. But no, I mean, and then I brought up something with the Bible, but I didn't read that one yet. But
12 apostles.
you can keep going if I read that. Well,
So Neville.
Yeah, go back to
Yeah,
Neville.
just go back to Neville.
I think it's important
He's
to
worth
point
12
out.
of Malfoy.
Yes. It's important to point out that his magic does seem to be very closely tied to his emotions. He has those sudden bursts of magic whenever he's nervous or scared. And in the earlier books, he has no confidence and he performs pretty poorly in school from what we seem to see. But once he starts gaining that confidence, he's, his true Gryffindor self.
Also, going back to performing magic, remember that he's using his father's wand.
Yes, that as well.
Because his grandmother doesn't love him enough to buy him a real one. Not that it's not a real one. His
And
own
after-
wand.
Your toe is under the table.
I'm sorry. I was tugging on her charger cord.
I'm like, what is happening? I see my cord wrapped around her feet.
It's so gross.
All right, Megan, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right.
Actually, Katie's talking.
Okay,
so
I thought Megan was going to say something. I interrupted her.
Megan talks too much.
Don't remember.
Permission to speak.
Go, Katie.
Granted.
So Neville seems cheered up a bit, and after he eats the chocolate frog, he gives Harry the card because he knows he collects them.
There it is.
I remembered what I was going to say.
I told you I wasn't crazy.
I was going to say that it's also curious after the 5th book and Neville gets his own wand, that's when he starts doing well.
It's curious that you should be destined for this
We're
one.
not doing that this
When his
episode.
brother gave you
You
that
that
scar.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, that's Harry. I'm talking about Neville.
I know, I'm sorry.
Neville has a scar on his heart.
Nope. Katie.
Ouch.
Sorry.
So he gives Harry the card, and it's Dumbledore. So Harry's just absentmindedly reading it because he already has a Dumbledore card.
Can I say you spelled Nicholas incorrectly?
Did I?
Do you want to talk about your doc?
No.
Okay, then.
But they spell it Nicolas in
my
the
bad.
book.
But he finds Nicolas Flamel. Finally. So on the back it says Dumbledore is particularly famous for his defeat of the dark wizard Grindelwald in 1945 for the discovery of the 12 uses of dragon's blood and his work on alchemy with his partner Nicolas Flamel.
12.
Do you think anyone ever calls him Flamel?
I want them to.
Flamel. I remember reading that and being like, "Oh my god, how did I not remember the name from earlier in the book?"
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like one of the first connections.
I didn't.
and I was
Are you
like,
talking about
"Whoa."
Grindelwald?
No.
Oh, yeah. I reckon well. No,
Like
Flamel.
how Harry couldn't remember where he'd read it, and I
Yeah.
hadn't remembered where he read it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it was like, oh my god, that's
We're
way
all
too
It's probably
very-
one of those things where, like, not that you skip over it, but you, like, almost forget you read it.
don't
exactly.
realize it's an important piece of information when you're
Yeah.
reading it.
So Hermione runs to go get a book she checked out from the library weeks ago for a bit of light reading. It's enormous. And in there, it says that Nicolas Flamel is the only known maker of the Sorcerer's Stone.
Known.
I know.
Is there someone else? I wonder.
I'm sure there is.
It says known, so.
So in her book, it says the ancient study of alchemy is concerned with making the Sorcerer's Stone a legendary substance with astonishing powers. The stone will transform.
I like literally hear Hermione's voice reading it from the movie.
The stone will transform any metal into pure gold. It also produces the elixir of life, which will make the drinker immortal.
I know what it means.
There have been many reports of the Sorcerer's Stone over the centuries, but the only stone currently in existence belongs to Mr. Nicolas Flamel, who celebrated his 665th birthday last year. Enjoys a quiet life in Devon with his wife, Perenelle, who is 658. I have a question, though.
Whoa, cradle robber.
How has no one...
65th and 58.
Oh, never mind. I know math.
He cradle robbed when he was just a little tyke himself.
Why? Can we disclose the time? In case
like
we
almost
sound
midnight.
insane. Remember when this happened last time?
Yep. So I know that he's obviously that old because he's drinking this elixir of life, right?
Right.
But how has no one ever like harmed him in any way to get this, to try and get this stone? You know what I mean?
He doesn't have the stone.
But they might try and, I don't know, torture it out of him of where it is.
Two questions. What do you think they look like? Do you think they look like they're 600?
No, because I gotta figure that when you're drinking like the elixir of life, like your body is not going to
decay.
Yes.
And my next question is, do they have kids?
His body will decay,
I was thinking of that.
but his spirit lingers on.
Oh god.
Wait, what else does he say?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
Meg, come on, you sing that all the time.
decay.
I don't know.
But
Aragog.
do you think he has kids? And if he has kids, did they don't talk about them drinking the elixir, so if they had kids, did they just die too?
I gotta feel they don't.
No.
Wouldn't they have
I
mentioned
feel like
it?
if they had kids,
They live with
would.
their million children
They
in
would.
Devon.
It's just a thought.
They would give them the elixir if they have kids, I think.
Yeah.
But maybe their kids didn't want them.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Thought.
But your other question, I don't know.
Maker of the Sorcerer's Stone.
Do you think he maybe
What are you trying
like
to
people
do?
knew that he didn't like physically have the stone on him at all times or something like that? I don't know. Because like when did
He has to have
Dumbledore
some
have
type
it?
of
You know,
protections.
when did it go into Gringotts first?
Well,
Or
actually,
how do you make your stuff if you're going back and forth? Maybe that's what I don't know. Maybe checked it out, checked it back in.
what you guys don't know
Like a library book.
is that he called me and told me that he just kept it there and he'd just go and visit, make the elixir in the little spot at Gringotts, and was like, "Yep, I'm gonna drink it here. My little wifey's with me."
Take a little shot of elixir.
Shotting it. Whoop, whoop, whoop. They do it on their birthday because they're really celebrating. Shotting the elixir of life, living for another year.
What's going on?
I wonder how much he'd have to take within a year.
But
Like how often do
like
you have to drink it?
yeah. That's
Is it
what I want to know. Like,
Polyjuice potion, or
like-
it's like
Well,
every
'cause you see
hour?
at the
oh, that would be annoying.
Such a pain. I can't imagine.
yeah, but just think if they
Well, I
if
guess
water.
if you're getting to live for forever, you might as well just. It's a
But
pain
no,
you
I
live
feel like
with.
I don't think it would be every hour.
I bet it's daily.
Yeah, because Dumbledore says at the end he's got enough to they can. Oh gosh,
Set his affairs in order.
correct. Thank you for speaking when I can.
You're welcome.
She'll be taking over the role as the Ravenclaw as well in this podcast.
Good point, though.
So Katie.
So Nicolas Flamel is a real person.
Young.
Is
And I thought this was cool to point out from JK. She said she remembered having a highly
I read that.
detailed and exceptionally vivid dream about Flamel. See a prior episode.
See it?
Hear about it.
Here with
Read
your
here
ears.
But you can say it again.
Nope, already closed out of it.
Oh, okay.
Oh man.
But it talked about it when we first
First talked about
hear about it from Hagrid that it's Nicolas Flamel.
yeah.
But she basically, J.K. Rowling had a dream about Nicolas Flamel.
and he showed her how to make the elixir, but she does not remember.
So she says.
So
Maybe she's hiding it because she
She's
doesn't want
lying.
us to make the elixir.
We don't know
Like,
how to make Horcruxes.
she could make
We
it,
don't know
maybe
dragon
she-
blood.
maybe that's part of it. Maybe dragon's blood is a part
Maybe.
of the elixir.
We did say that because I listened to our episode today because I'm vain.
Maybe if she was drinking the elixir of life, she'd live long enough to want to write a Marauder story.
She'll be inspired on her 600th birthday.
Oh my god.
I think her 650th
That's not cool though because we can't
birthday.
drink the elixir and we won't get to enjoy that story.
Our children's children.
I don't care about them. I want
Oh.
to enjoy
Oh.
it. Okay, I take
And
that back. I
that's-
do care about them, but I also want to enjoy
We have
it.
selfish reasons
People
for
not
wanting
caring
things.
about things is what caused global warming.
Oh my god.
Just kidding. I don't really know
I care
facts about life.
things.
So this is a little science-y, but I thought it was interesting.
Is it?
Let's do it.
So we wanted to dive
know
into a little
science.
bit more of what alchemy actually is. So straight out of the dictionary, it's the medieval forerunner of chemistry, based on the supposed transformation of matter. And then I just found a website that kind of explained it in a way that I could understand it. Shout out to livescience.com.
Jack Ham.
So alchemy is concerned with attempting to change base metals, mostly lead, into gold or the universal elixir. So way back then, it was thought that everything in the world was composed of the four basic elements, so air, earth, fire, and water. But today we know it's a lot more complex than that. And since
So you mean
lead...
you can't turn lead into gold?
You can't. And since lead isn't made up of those 4 basic elements, it's impossible to turn it into gold.
Can I
Yes.
turn anything into gold?
My heart.
Oh, gross. Getting sappy. I just thought of Captain Planet.
Yes.
Bueller.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
Who is that?
So ancient alchemists didn't seek to change metals into gold out of greed. So they weren't looking to get rich.
No.
That's what they say.
Gold actually symbolized the highest development in nature and came to personify human renewal and regeneration. So a golden human being was resplendent with spiritual beauty and had triumphed over the power of evil, which is the opposite of what lead was believed to have symbolized.
And it also makes you rich.
Interesting though to think of what lead does to a person if they're like exposed
Poisonous.
to it. Mm-hmm. So is greed and
Yep.
evil and
Oh, Sarah making those connections.
Oh, Sarah.
and as far as I know, gold has never done anything like that except for people greedy want it and whatever.
I prefer silver.
I think it hurt Gold member.
I think he still enjoyed himself. Do you
Like
want to smoke in a pancake?
Bong in a blitz. Cigar and a waffle. Cigarette and a flapjack. Pipe and a grape. I'm done.
All right.
Austin Powers.
On to Snape and read
Snape.
Severus
Snape.
Dumbledore.
Nope, just Snape.
So let's talk about how you see Snape suddenly popping up wherever Harry is in the corridors, as I should say.
He's so creepy.
We know this. He's creepy and greasy.
You need some shampoo.
And so Harry almost feels
It's
like
a lot of shampoo.
Get some herbal essence
I
on
think he's
there.
been using some dry shampoo for a while. He needs to change it up.
His
He needs a
hair
better
would look
shampoo.
much better even with dry shampoo.
So this is what the book was saying. So you see Harry walking in the corridors, and he keeps running into Snape. Like anywhere Harry is, Snape just seems to be there. Right. And so this is after Harry sees him in the woods with Quirrell, and he knows about the Sorcerer's Stone, and he knows that Snape knows about it. And so you see, thinks that like, oh my God, maybe Snape knows something because he's so extra horribly mean to him in potions class. Why are you laughing at me? I don't know. Okay. And so he literally says, he's like, could Snape possibly know that I know about the Sorcerer's Stone? Can he read my mind? And so going back in time, someone died upstairs. When I first read the book, you're probably reading going, no, that can't happen. Nobody can read minds. Like, Harry, you're dumb. Nah. But now that we've read all of the books and we've seen all of the things to see in the books, that he probably was, because we know that Snape's a good, I don't know how to say it.
Legilimens.
Correct.
Give me a Coke.
Yes, that's two cups.
So he not only is he skilled in that, he's also skilled at occlumency. So we know that he probably was reading his mind. Like, what do you guys think? Do you think he, not reading it on purpose, but maybe he, because again, as we see in later books, Harry is not good at occlumency, which is the skill to like kind of not let someone
your mind.
Yeah, not let someone enter your mind and see your thoughts.
emotions.
Control your emotions.
So, do you think that maybe he heard, like, again, what 11-year-old would know about the Sorcerer's Stone? So maybe Snape just caught a glimpse of it one day.
Here's my thought process. How casually can you read someone's mind?
I also wanted to talk about that.
Because, like,
can you feel it?
So he's not looking at Harry and staring deep into his soul.
I don't think you
like
need
he
to.
was in the whatever they were when he's looking at his mind.
Yeah.
But like how, like, because he's not like,
He's not like Queenie.
yeah, or is there?
But there's a thing, or is he?
I don't know.
I don't know if he's like Queenie per se, but I think that there's got to be different levels of legilimens, and Voldemort is known to be one.
Is Draco one, or is he just good at occlumency?
There's something somewhere that says he might be.
No, I think he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you get that from?
the internet.
Pottermore, I think.
Didn't you know J.K. Rowling and I are on a semi first name basis where I call her Joe and she calls me Miss O'Malley. And we talk all the time. And she tells me all of the secrets. So I know all about the Marauders.
So you have to realize that Snape is constantly around. I mean, not at this moment in time, but he was constantly around Voldemort, who is a very skilled Legilimens and is very skilled in occlumency. And Snape is the same way. So
He needs to be realistic.
Snape needed to be that way in order to be the spy that he was. Otherwise, Voldemort would have known immediately.
Son of a gun.
Have you never thought about that?
And
No.
And that's why Voldemort trusts him.
Wait for it.
That's also why you guys
Wait for
are
it.
in Ravenclaw.
So I think that because, I mean, like, I guess Snape may know that Voldemort was trying to read his mind, but Snape knows how to close his mind with occlumency.
He knows he's close if you can't
But
read
I think that like when he's around Voldemort, he just puts those walls
Yes.
up, kind of thing.
Wait,
He's
can he
always prepared.
fake thoughts?
I think that's
Yes.
a thing. Yeah.
Oh, this is getting deep.
What
sweaty.
lightning bolt round? What would Snape's fake thoughts be?
Your mom.
It would be, I mean, he would like form thoughts to match the information he's about to give.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I
For
was
sure.
thinking like hilarious things like puppies.
He doesn't even know what a puppy is. Let's be
No, but
honest.
I mean, like, you know, if you look back,
Combs.
It'd be sadness and teardrops and, cloudy, stormy days.
I guess more not go back, but more so jump forward. If you take a look at Snape's story and how we learn that Dumbledore's death was a setup, we learn that Dumbledore told Snape to plant the decoy idea for Harry's escape from Privet Drive. And to confund Mundungus and make him come up with the idea because nobody trusts Snape anymore after this point. He has to block all of that from Voldemort. So clearly he is
has to be
extremely skilled in it in order to block it from Voldemort.
So I'm going to
And
say he
if-
can casually read minds.
Well,
Yeah.
and if you think about it, not only does he have to be skilled at it, he has to be more skilled than Voldemort
Right.
to fool him. And we see he has.
Suck
very
it,
well.
Voldemort.
So,
You
yeah.
lose.
So we learn that Snape's 1,000% reading minds.
Okay.
So maybe that's why
Done and done.
maybe thinking about this, he's the reason why they realize it's Quirrell. Like maybe Dumbledore has no idea and Snape hears him thinking about it and talking to Voldemort and he's like, oh no, like we need like to fix all this stuff. I gotta tell Dumbledore, and gives him the whole plan and he's like, this is what's happening. Like I heard whatever, you know
I'm
what I mean?
so down with that.
Yeah, I like it.
I never even thought of that before. Like
so
he
into
probably
that.
like Dumbledore probably didn't tell him anything. He was the one probably telling Dumbledore.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Headcanon accepted.
Yeah.
More reasons why Snape was trustworthy. I still don't like him though.
That's cool because he was a jerk.
Yeah.
Was.
That you
Well, I guess
cannot
he was
deny.
dead, so
Yeah.
Are we pouring one out for him? Have we poured one out for him?
No.
Does he
No.
deserve
Are
one?
we going to do that?
No.
No.
Let's pour out the cheapest vodka we can find. Vodka.
All right.
All right. The Quidditch match has arrived. Harry
Dun,
is
dun, dun.
certain that he is doomed because Snape is the ref for the match. But he's calmed when he hears that Dumbledore is attending the game. Wood puts some pressure on Harry to win the game fast, so Snape can't show bias to the Hufflepuffs because, let's be
Shout
honest,
out.
we know that. So Ron and Hermione are up in the stands watching with their wands at the ready with the leg locking curse just in case Snape tries to hurt Harry again. Draco shows up. He gets into a fight with Ron and Neville because he's a jerk and was saying mean things not only to Neville but to Ron. And that's when we hear that Neville tells him that I'm worth 12 of you.
Is that whenever Draco says 12? Is that whenever Draco says something about like, oh, Weasley, somebody saw like gold on the ground or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah, when he's
Too bad they didn't have a Niffla.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let me find out what he says.
Yeah. But I love that
Oh, this is what it is. Oh, hold on. Go on, Tiffany.
that Ron and Hermione come like ready to go. Like
Yeah.
they're ready to attack Snape.
They had
Yeah.
been practicing the leg locker
Yes,
curse
I
to
love
protect
that.
Harry.
Yeah, because it even says in the book, like Neville's like thought it was strange they brought their
Yeah.
wands, but they like have them all ready to go.
Well,
This
you
is
have your wand on you all the time anyway.
It's
I guess
Neville.
maybe you don't think about it when you're 11, though.
And they come prepared to curse a teacher.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For Harry's
Serious
protection.
business.
And think about Hermione, like
Yeah.
she's
Right.
ready to curse a teacher.
Oh, how she's changed.
You attacked a teacher.
This is what Malfoy says. He goes, "You're in luck, Weasley. Potter's obviously spotted some money on the ground." That's after he's like shoots to the ground to when he sees the snitch.
Yeah.
I just hate him sometimes.
And then he also says to Neville, this is before he says the money thing. He says, "Longbottom, if brains were gold, you'd be poorer than Weasley," and that's saying something. So that's kind of what starts the fight because Ron is very not only protective, but I think he's also a little bit embarrassed by his family having no money, and Malfoy's a jerk.
I think he's just
Also sick of him saying
sensitive
stuff.
to
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while they're fighting, Hermione sees Harry die for the snitch. She's like completely oblivious to the fact that her two friends are fighting, like fist fighting, rolling around underneath the bleachers. Like it's Ron and Draco, and then Neville's getting like probably pummeled by Crabbe and Goyle.
Gets 2 black eyes,
Yeah.
I believe.
So she
Wasn't
sees
Neville-
Harry dive for the snitch.
the snitch.
And then he like goes and makes like a beeline for Snape, who just at the last moment sees it and like gets out of the way. Because like, can you think if he didn't, he'd be pummeling Snape
That would be
right
amazing.
off of his broom.
I don't want to see that.
Yeah. And so Harry catches the snitch, which ends the game, and Gryffindor wins. Everyone is shocked at how fast it had ended, and they even say, like, this is probably the fastest on record, and it didn't even last 5 minutes. And you see Snape is very angry, literally spits on the ground. He's so mad. Spat bitterly on the ground is how the book says. Because now the Gryffindor team is in the lead for the cup. And it's the first time in 7 years that it's not Slytherin.
What?
Stinking Slytherin.
Stinking Slytherin.
And Dumbledore also mentions to Harry, he tells him, "Well done. Nice to see that you haven't been brooding about that mirror. Been keeping busy. Excellent."
Excellent.
Excellent. So after the match, Harry leaves the locker room later and he leaves alone, which I thought was kind of interesting as Sarah hiccups.
Oh, I'm laughing at he leaves alone. Was he in there with someone?
No, it's kind of weird to me that he's like by himself.
Maybe he needed some time.
I thought that was weird as well.
Yeah, I just struck me as weird. And so as he's walking to the broom shed to put away his Nimbus 2000, he was feeling pretty amazing. I mean, everything was going right. He couldn't remember feeling any happier. And he wasn't just famous for having the name Potter anymore because he was really actually skilled at something. So he's looking up at Hogwarts. Stop laughing.
Laughing at Facebook.
Feeling amazing, and he sees something suspicious. A hooded figure coming from the front steps of the castle, walking fast and clearly not wanting to be seen. So this sparks his interest. And he recognizes the prowling walk of Snape. And here's where it gets funny for me. Snape enters the forest at a run. Can you imagine him running?
No. I can imagine.
Do it, Sarah.
Hold on, wait.
We got an Instagram story of this. We have some people who are watching our live story. So this is Snape running into the forest.
Complete with twirl.
Complete with twirl. So that's him.
It's after midnight, guys.
I'm just tired. It's all right. There me saying again. I'm gonna hear it every time.
Saying what?
Um,
Can I just say something real quick?
We pointed out to Sarah that she says that way too much. So,
and then I say,
you guys should count how many times she says it
We'll have a drinking game.
and let us know.
We'll have a butterbeer every time I say it.
That's a lot.
We're trying to fix our annoying tendencies when we're podcasting. So
I don't have
bear-
the time or
bear
the money
with
to
us.
fix that.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna say always. So here we go. Harry gets on his broom and he glides along to catch up, and he's remaining silent, which is a good thing because if he would have ran or something or like walked, he would have been easily spotted. And this is something that I always kind of forget, that he's up in a beech tree. when he's listening to the conversation. I guess like every time I've read, I haven't really like realized that he's like up in trees. Anybody else?
Up in trees.
I always kind of pictured him like hovering above the trees
Yeah.
on his broom.
Yeah.
Can I
he
just say
lands
that
in it.
I'm so saturated with the movies? Like,
Yep.
don't even remember him being in the
This-
forest.
This doesn't happen.
This whole
does it?
scene that plays out, it plays out in the hallway.
Correct.
Right.
And it's so much cooler this way.
I would agree.
yeah. So, and then Rowling.
I've been going on rants lately about the differences between books and movies, and I need to stop because I've always done a really good job at keeping them separate, but lately it's just really
I think
been annoying me.
doing
I
the
think-
podcast is
Yeah.
doing that to you.
Well,
Yeah.
because you loved the fifth movie, and then when you reread the book, and they're
Yeah.
great for what they are,
worst.
comparing them to the book.
And I just-
for me, all books are like this.
I just
I'm
finished
always-
7, and now like
out
that
to
movie
Bill
just
Burr.
annoys
Oh my
me.
god, it still made me cry. I won't lie, but
Well, yeah, but the battle.
ugh, the baldy bits, ugh.
The Voldy Fetty.
Holy Fetty.
Ugh. Ugh.
Fetty Mort. All right. You're all welcome.
I don't know what that means.
Like
Confetti.
Confetti, Voldemort. Yeah, you just ruin it. All right. So Joe makes a point to say that he lands in a beech tree. So I was like, well, what does that mean as far as like wandwoods go?
I was going to say, is that a wandwood?
It is.
Yeah.
So I'm going to attempt to read this. Last time I attempted to read this, it really made me angry because of the way that Ollivander is written.
Mm-hmm.
If I mess this up, you're just going to have to deal. So
Okay.
this is on Pottermore. It says, the true match for a beech wand will be, if young, wise beyond his or her years, and if full grown, rich in understanding and experience. What does that even mean? Beech wands perform very weakly for the narrow-minded and intolerant. Such wizards and witches, having obtained a beech wand without having been suitably matched, yet coveting this most desirable, richly hued, and highly prized wand wood, have often presented themselves at the homes of learned wand makers such as myself, demanding to know the reason for their handsome wand's lack of power. When properly matched, the beech wand is capable of a subtly and artistry rarely seen in any other wand wood, hence its lustrous reputation.
Interesting.
So if you
Good job
suck,
reading that.
it sucks to suck. This beech wand will not do well for you. That's what I gathered from that. I don't know what that has to do with him landing in a beech tree, but there's the information. Enjoy.
Take it how you want.
Yeah. So, So he's perched in this tree and he's listening to the conversation. And the conversation's happening between Quirrell and Snape. So I'm going to kind of read directly from the chapter.
From the chapter.
From the chapter. Below in a shadowy clearing stood Snape, but he wasn't alone. Quirrell was there too. Harry couldn't make out the look on his face, but he was stuttering worse than ever. Harry strained to catch what they were saying. Don't know why you wanted to meet here of all places, Severus.
That was very good.
Thank you. Oh, I thought we'd keep this private, said Snape in his voice icy. Students are supposed to know about the Sorcerer's Stone, after all. Harry leaned forward. Quirrell was mumbling something. Snape interrupted him. Have you found out how to get past that beast of Hagrid's yet? But Severus, you don't want me as your enemy, Quirrell. And Snape, taking a step forward to him. I don't know what you know perfectly well what I mean. An owl hooted loudly, and Harry nearly fell out of the tree. He steadied himself in time to hear Snape say, your little bit of hocus pocus. I'm waiting. But I don't very well, Snape cut in. We'll have another little chat soon when you've had time to think over things and decided where your loyalties lie. He threw his cloak over his head and strode out of the clearing. It was almost dark now, but Harry could see Quirrell standing quite still, as though he was petrified. Sarah.
Do you think he got yelled at after that? By Voldemort.
That'd be kind of hard to Can you imagine that scene?
Do you think that he was standing there petrified because Voldemort was talking to him inside his head?
Maybe.
Yeah, probably yelling at him. In his head.
Voldemort's also probably really confused because Snape is supposed to be a Death Eater. And
But why would he be confused?
This helps
maybe
me.
Yeah.
This helps me confirm my theory.
Oh, what's your theory?
I just finished Deathly Hallows.
Did you?
What's
And
that?
I know I've said that like 4 times. But
Well, you said it on another episode.
yeah. Well, I also just said it like 2 seconds ago.
Oh, you
But-
did? I listened.
So Snape's memories are very fresh in my mind right now, and he touches on this in those memories.
Okay.
And oh wait, is that one?
Whoa.
No. All right.
Lies?
Rewind.
Are you lying?
It's in Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah.
Whenever Narcissa and Bellatrix come to Spinner's End,
Okay.
and Bellatrix is like, I don't trust you. And then Snape tells her to ask him any questions and he'll answer. And she says, why did you stop the Dark Lord from getting the Sorcerer's Stone? And he says that he just saw a man who was being greedy, basically, in Quirrell. And he thought that Quirrell was trying to get it for himself.
So he was playing it off like he didn't know that Voldemort
Right.
was in him.
Yes.
I see, said the blind man.
Jeez. All right, that's
Snape.
interesting. So loyalties and where they lie. So who is Snape telling Quirrell to be loyal to him or to Dumbledore?
I think it's Dumbledore.
I agree.
We started this conversation
And then
the
we
other
stopped
night.
because we were like, no, save it for the podcast.
Yeah.
I feel like it's Dumbledore.
I agree.
I don't know.
It's
If
just
not Dumbledore, then just like the good guy side.
I think that he is saying to Snape, trust Snape.
that's what
'Cause
I'm.
Snape is snaping it up and real good.
What does any of that mean?
I don't
But
even know.
when he says, you know, I want you to figure out where your loyalties lie. But then he's asking him, did you figure out how to get past the 3-headed dog? Mm-hmm. I think that he is just being very honest with Quirrell, saying, I know what you're trying to do. Because I've put an enchantment in front of this stone. You've put something in front of this stone. We all know where it is. And we all know at least one thing that's protecting it. I will not let you ruin this. That's kind of how I take it.
Okay. All right. I'm taking it the other way. And I don't know. I guess it's the way that you read what he says. You know what I mean? Like, because when I read, have you found out how to get past that beast of Hagrid's yet? That, the way I interpret that is like, have you found out yet? Like, let's get going on this.
I agree. That's how I read it.
Okay. Oh.
I took that differently. I took it as like, oh, have you figured it out yet? Like, you need to not mess with this because it's not yours to take. Mm-hmm. Like,
I
almost like a
also
taunting.
found the little quote from Half-Blood Prince
Okay.
where it just says, I think you next wanted to know, he pressed on a little more loudly, for Bellatrix showed every sign of interrupting. Why I stood between the Dark Lord and the Philosopher's Stone. That is easily answered. He did not know whether he could trust me. He thought, like you, that I had turned from faithful Death Eater to Dumbledore's stooge. He was in a pitiable condition, very weak, sharing the body of a mediocre wizard. He did not dare reveal himself to a former ally, if that ally might turn him over to Dumbledore or the Ministry. I deeply regret that he did not trust me. He would have returned to power 3 years sooner. As it was, I only saw greedy and unworthy Quirrell attempting to steal the stone, and I admit I did all I could to thwart him.
Interesting.
Then it also says here, this is just like, I think a theory that somebody has like written on their own. Mm-hmm. It says, just because Snape claims not to have known Voldemort was possessing Quirrell doesn't mean that he didn't actually know at the time.
Yeah.
I think
And
he had to.
especially
If we
now
talk about
knowing that
Right.
he's Legilimens,
right there, it is.
he had to have known that Voldemort was there. And
Oh,
I think
yeah.
I think Snape clearly played a massive role in Dumbledore being so knowledgeable about it.
I agree.
Yeah, but I mean, I also think, I mean, he could totally be, I mean, telling Bellatrix a lie.
I agree.
Right.
He is.
No, he could be. He could be. That's just what comes out of his mouth.
And
in
this is all headcanon, so
Yeah.
you do you, we do we.
But it makes
So you
sense
say?
for him to lie to Bellatrix.
Right.
To say, like, oh, I just saw this one realistically.
Well, I mean, he's lying
probably-
to her in general anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
But yeah.
And that could have been what he told Voldemort, because Bellatrix might go back to Voldemort with this, and if their stories don't match up, then Snape is done.
oh yeah.
So he's just copying what he told Voldemort, I would assume.
So I
Yeah.
guess I want to know what our listeners think.
Yeah. Please let us know.
Yeah, what does Snape mean by all of this?
Whose loyalties are where? Are they with Dumbledore or are they with Snape? I want to hear it. I want to know.
Yeah,
Okay. We got to figure out how to do polls.
I know. I'll figure
It's
it out.
got to be on the laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So when Harry returns to Gryffindor Tower, there's a party. Everybody's celebrating. Ron is filling Harry in on the fight with Malfoy. He says he gave Malfoy a black eye. Oh, I said that wrong earlier. I said Neville got like 2 black eyes. I don't know why I was thinking that. Probably because it's after midnight. Ron gave Malfoy a black eye, and Neville was sent to the hospital wing, knocked out by Crabbe and Goyle. So there's
Neville.
chalk that up for another hospital trip for Neville.
Yeah. How many hospital stays has he had?
I feel like we need to like tally it out.
It's been at least 3 so far, if not 4.
Fred and George said that they, quote, stole food from the kitchens. And I'm not saying that the twins like would embellish about something like this, because they do a bunch of like awesomely cool, rebellious kid stuff. But I feel like it would be really impossible to steal food from the really amazing house elves at
They would
Hogwarts.
just give it
I think,
away.
especially
Yeah.
depending on which one you're talking to.
Which
Right.
house elf you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, so I feel like as soon as you like, what do you tickle the pear? Mm-hmm. As soon as you tickle that pear, they're like, "Oh, yeah, you hungry? Like, let me feed you." I feel
They're
like,
like Mrs. Weasley.
yes, fatten you up,
Little
That's what I
mother
feel.
elves.
Yes, so that's kind of I don't know, a little thought of mine. Harry puts together that there are other things guarding the stone, and because of like the fluffy talk and Quirrell's quote, "Hocus pocus." And Hocus Pocus comes up actually a couple of times in this book.
It is Halloween.
And so I wanted to know where it originated.
It's after Christmas already, Sarah.
Not in my life.
So I pulled up, it's called wordorigins.org. And so it says, we all know that hocus pocus is a term used for magicians' patter, the magic words that make a trick happen. But where does it come from? The term first appears as the name of a juggler or magician in the early 17th century from John Gee's New Shreds of the Old Snare, written in 1624. This is a little background for you. You're all welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tiffany.
Yeah, because knowledge is power.
My life is enriched because of you.
I know. The trio figure out that the only way the stone will stay safe is as long as Quirrell stays strong, and Ron kindly states that it'll be gone by next Tuesday.
Good old Ron.
And that ends that chapter and brings us to our lightning bolt round.
Do you have any questions?
I have
Tiffany?
prepped questions.
I'm ready.
I have questions too.
Oh, look at you. Can I ask my question?
Nope.
I didn't get to ask any last
I
time,
was
really.
joking.
Yes, you
Of course.
did.
Not as many as you. All right. My question is, if you could use the Sorcerer's Stone for something, what would you use it for?
What does that mean? It's
Like-
only used for...
I know, but like, would you, if you had to choose between gold or eternal life?
Gold. I would just live my life to the fullest. I wouldn't
My
want to live forever. That would get like, you know, I just kind of think of Binks from Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
And like how he just wanted to die. Like he was ready.
I thought
Yeah.
you were talking about Jar Jar Binks.
No.
No, Thackeray. So, I mean, if you could have gold and then you could do anything you wanted in the life that you have allotted to you, I would much rather do that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I
Traveling
agree.
with some gold.
My next question.
I'd be like the bucket list family, and I would just travel
There you go.
my whole life.
My next question is, do you think that you'd be able to get it out of the thing? Like, do you think you'd actually be able to get the stone?
No, because I would want to use it for gold.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be smart enough to figure it
Yeah.
out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't trick it into thinking I didn't want to use it, because I would want to use it.
I don't know. Are we in the same situation or are we just walking up to mirrors?
You can walk
you
up to mirrors.
You mean it's like stuck in the mirror?
Yeah, like am I Harry in the situation with Coral?
Sort of, but you're not Harry. You're you.
Well, then yes. I would get the stone. Because I'm a Gryffindor.
Okay. What is Quirrell? Isn't he a Gryffindor?
No.
He's a Ravenclaw, isn't he?
I don't want him. He's not allowed to be.
Look
in the
it
room.
up. Somebody.
Listen, we all have crappy characters in our houses.
We've
okay?
discussed this many a time.
I don't think I do.
You have like Uruk the oddball, don't you?
No, he wasn't a Hufflepuff. I think he was a Ravenclaw.
Who's
Oh,
peeing
yeah,
on
he was.
themselves?
That was, I don't know.
Wait,
that was just wizards in the
relating to
past.
urine.
That's yeah.
Is that him?
Yep.
Urine man.
I have a question. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Would you have played if Snape was refereeing the game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there was no backup.
Face yo Fia.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Why is it so... Why doesn't Dumbledore go to all the Quidditch matches?
He's got other things to do.
Busy dude.
Don't care.
He busy.
Like,
He busy.
Running a school.
oh, he was a Ravenclaw.
Ha!
Who on you?
Who, Uruk?
Now you have
No,
Lockhart and
Quirrell.
Quirrell.
Lockhart's not bad. He's really good at the.
You hated on him. This is why
I
you
don't like
no.
him.
This is why you got to listen to the podcast that you do. Because
I mean,
you were
again,
like,
I don't like him, but I like him better than Quirrell. I'd rather have Lockhart than Quirrell. Like,
Would you rather
Quirrell.
have Lockhart post Chamber of Secrets or pre?
Post?
Nice. Do.
Can I just say?
No. Why isn't there a class at Hogwarts about healing? At least like a magical first aid course.
It's an interesting
Honestly.
thought.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Do you think they'd fix their black eyes?
That's what I'm saying. Maybe Neville wouldn't have to be walked up to the hospital wings. I mean, he was knocked out, so whatever. But like,
Was he floated up to the?
oh, little Wingardium Leviosa up the steps.
I think Harry might mention in the last book how he like realizes his lack of healing abilities from education, like he just wasn't taught it.
Basically, throw some Dittany on it, and we're done.
Yes.
Does it work for bruises, or do they have like a bruise paste or something?
It works for splinching. I got to figure it works for everything.
Yeah, but flinching, like he was.
Well, they
openly
also
bleeding.
used the Dittany on the burns from.
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like,
but that's like another like wound. Like a bruise
Right.
is totally a different type of.
well, it's magic. We can do whatever we want.
You can't do whatever you want.
I'll do
Almost.
whatever I want.
You can't bring someone back from the dead.
Do you think that in Defense Against the Dark Arts, they learned how to cure injuries from dark creatures / magic? Like, I know we learned about
Yes.
werewolf
I
bites.
don't think so.
Oh, well, they learn how to take care of werewolf bites.
But then why ask the question if you already know?
Because I want to know if
it.
it's like more than that.
I don't think.
Like,
Clearly, they're not getting that
Grinlow
much.
stuff, and
I think they
I
would.
think so.
you got brains. You know, like in
No.
the ministry.
Brains.
What are those things?
I don't know.
That's for another
Memories or
episode
something.
in about 4 years.
I have a question.
Sure.
Yep.
If you had a chocolate frog card made right now, what would it say about your life?
She spends 90% of her time in bed or eating sausages.
Or podcasting?
I was just going to say
Yeah.
Host of Swish and Flick podcast.
1/4 of the coolest podcast ever.
Do you think we would each get an individual one or like one group one?
I would want a group one. That would be cool.
Or we could all have a group one and individual ones?
Yeah.
Because
we'll
we're
go-
that big.
It would say
That cool. We're the cool kids. It's say Swish and Flick Cast, aka the Cool Kids Club.
Me and Meg actually made a chocolate frog card for ourselves for our wedding as
They're
a gift.
lying.
Because we
I
had a
made
Harry
it.
Potter wedding.
And it
just
was
saying.
the back was pretty hilarious. I don't remember everything it said, but
We have
was
it on
cute.
our fridge.
It was cute.
That's nice.
I have it somewhere.
I believe I was exemplary in the Scourgify course. Or
That's so perfect for you.
charm.
That
Guys,
is-
she's a germaphobe.
Yeah.
She's getting better though.
How
Is
many
she?
gerbs are in that pop filter there?
She didn't get grossed out when I ate that
I'm not
pretzel off the
touching
floor.
it.
I have another question.
Hey, I didn't get the answer.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I didn't get the answer. I'd spend all my time with my dog and my husband.
Yeah. I was gonna say
Fosbear.
it would say wife to Martin, mother to Foz, teacher of young minds,
And a student of the world.
podcaster to some,
Potterhead to all.
general dork.
Yeah.
Go, Meg.
What would your answer be?
Turd.
Host of
Ferguson.
Swish and Flick podcast, and
Not much else.
Avid
Mom.
Swiftie.
avid
Oh
Swiftie,
my gosh.
Taylor Swift.
Oh God, I was like, what does that mean? Disney.
Avid Swiftie,
Disney loon.
Potterhead,
Curry worshiper.
Stephen Curry worshiper,
I have a question.
and mother to Ignotus, Teddy, and Minerva.
All right. Is there
Kitties for life.
someone that you is like the Snape to you that you wouldn't want to
Whoa,
ref your
that's
game?
kind of like
It doesn't have to be personal. It could literally be someone you've never met. It could be Snape. Snape could be your Snape.
episode title. It could be your Snape.
I'll even put this on. It has to be a wizarding.
I'll tell you. No,
Okay, fine.
Ezra Kirk.
Do you think he'd be mean to you? Do we have to defend
I don't
you
know.
against him?
Rebel
think
Watch
he's-
has been calling us out.
Oh,
He's
did
too
it?
smug to
He's a little smug. I mean, he's talking about the Force. I'm gonna force push him right off a broom.
Can I say that would make sense though, because the Gryffindors win. Like we are like the Gryffindor team, so they win and they beat Snape and the Slytherins.
Who's we?
Just like I'm saying,
Are you saying
the
that?
whole cast right now is like Gryffindor.
Hold on.
So when
Gryffindor's the best.
No, I'm
Yeah.
saying Swish and Flick is the best.
Tiffany, calm down.
Versus
Which is-
Rebel Watch.
but you're comparing
'cause we're gonna
Swish and Flick
win.
to
So when we
Gryffindor.
go up against Rebel Watch, we're gonna win. That's what
Gonna
we're saying.
Just like Harry and the Gryffindors are beating the Slytherins,
My
we
Snape-
too will beat Rebel Watch.
My Snape
We
would be
too.
Matt then.
No, okay.
He's
He's a little. What's that word? I think it's called just smug.
yeah.
He's a little smug.
Yeah, a little bit.
He's a little smug.
If he was part of the Potterverse, he would be a smuggle.
Also, he's a huge Snape fan, so
Oh yeah, he
Right.
needs to go.
got that Snape wand from Universal. I don't know what's going on. We also got to throw Mr. Michael Canterbury in there. He's also roughing a match.
So Rebel Watch would be our Snape.
Yeah, essentially. Rebel Watch is an all Star Wars podcast. Tune in, listen to them. Tell them how much you love Harry Potter.
Go on their page.
Yes.
They have a Facebook. They have a
Podbean comments.
Yeah, Podbean. And go and leave comments and tell them that Swish and Flick is better.
Yeah.
They're great too. Just,
Also,
you know, we're
just
cooler.
side note, like this is a very good friendship, and we're not being mean.
That's
to them.
true. Yeah. Full disclosure, they are some of my best friends. So.
But really, go and leave them comments and tell them that Swish and Flick is better.
And ask them straight up, start your conversation. Who gave you the right? Who do you think you are?
Just tell them who you think's gonna win and the fight to the death. Is it gonna be Rebel Watch or is it gonna be Swish and Flick? My vote's Swish and Flick, and that's the right vote.
Katie, what's your vote?
Squish and Slick.
Swish and Flick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think. All right. Any other lightning bull round questions?
Let me think. Do you think there could be a scarier place that they would go to have this conversation than the Forbidden Forest? What if Harry got caught?
No, not at like not like in the Hogwarts. I think Forbidden Forest is like the scariest
Think
place.
of like what would have happened if Harry walked into the forest. He would be dead.
No, they would have known he was there. It'd have been too loud, I think.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Do you think that Hagrid? It's not who I'm thinking about. Do you think Snape knew he was in the woods because he can like
Told him
read
to meet him
minds?
there.
I'm talking about Harry.
He was pretty focused.
You're talking
on
about who?
Quirrell.
I'm sorry.
Snape, do you think he knew that Harry was there because he could read minds?
I think.
How
he
does
was
that
very-
work, though?
Like Katie said, I think he was very focused on Quirrell.
I bet you he knew he was there.
So if I'm like sitting in a room, can I like, and I'm Snape, can I hear all of you?
Yeah.
I think that you would
could-
have to tune in to each person.
Oh my gosh,
So-
this is
But
like
maybe, like,
Twilight.
I was gonna say, is Snape like Edward Cullen?
No.
Does he-
But maybe
Sparkle.
does he like have an
Oh,
inkling of like,
sparkle.
oh, I can hear, like, and I can tune them out. Like maybe when he first, I don't know.
Well,
It's an interesting thought.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like there's got to be something more to it rather than just like listening.
Yeah.
I'm still stuck on sparkly Snape. Does he
Somebody
snarkle?
draw that. Somebody drew something.
Yeah, it was so cute.
Yeah.
It was a puppy.
Oh, so
I'm digging it. Can they draw Fozzie Bear in a little hat?
Can I ask another lightning bolt
With his
question?
clean sweep?
Right.
Tiffany's gonna find the woman's. I don't know if it's a woman. The person's name. Sorry.
Huh?
Is that what you're looking up?
Whose name?
The person that drew that thing. It's
No.
just saying, oh, there was a person that drew a picture.
I'm
It
looking
is a
up
girl.
mind reading.
So
How do you
if
spell
you were gonna
legilimate?
buy Snape some shampoo, what would you buy?
He's gonna need some
Tresemme.
serious stuff.
Head and shoulders.
Ooh la la.
Does he have dandruff though? He's just greasy.
Well,
Her name is Jordan, by the way, the girl
Yeah.
that drew.
Jordan,
it
that was super
amazing.
It's so cute. So cute. We put it on our Instagram and Twitter and
It's
Facebook.
very cute.
I think
I
Facebook.
reblogged it. Is that the right terminology for Tumblr?
Yes.
Reblogged
I think
it.
so.
Just I haven't said that in a long time, so it sounds weird. I'm always amazed at people that can draw things because I can't. So she's very talented.
Do we want to do our fan
What kind of
story?
shampoo? You didn't answer.
Oh, I kind of answered with Tiffany. And
Yeah,
said
we
Tresemme.
sang it.
I think Paul Mitchell has a clean shampoo that is a cleansing, like a specifically one to get stuff out of your hair.
I'm gonna go Herbal Essence. I want to see Snape in the commercial.
Yes. Yes.
So good.
Is that the right one?
Would you
Yeah.
ever wash Snape's hair for him?
Oh no.
Oh, see, I mean,
Well, you
I would need to.
I had
because I'd
a
be like, can I just wash
hazmat
it?
would you give him a pedicure?
No, but I'd give him a really good scrub down on his little scalp. Clean it up.
Can I say something real quick?
Yep.
Nope.
Legilimens to see inside another witch or wizard's mind. So is it pictures?
I think it could be both.
I'm very
I
Joe,
think
dear
it's-
What is
Joe.
I think
Queenie?
it's
What are the-
pictures.
I need more.
What do they
I
say
need more on
Queenie
this.
is?
She's a legilimens.
Yeah.
So she doesn't
Isn't that what Newt
necessarily
says?
see, but
So
she can hear.
Legilimens says it like the first thing it says a spell that lets the caster see into the mind of another person. This is also the term for a witch or wizard with this ability. Only muggles talk of mind reading. The mind is not a book to be opened at will and examined at leisure. Thoughts are not etched onto the insides of skulls to be pursued by any invader. The mind is a complex and many-layered thing, Potter, or at least most minds are. Ooh, brr.
It says here on Pottermore that Queenie is a legilimens,
Mm-hmm.
someone with the ability to extract feelings and memories from another's mind. So it seems to be very specific to picture, I would think,
Mm.
and emotion, not necessarily like reading. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Most guys are thinking what you was thinking when you first saw me.
Gosh, she's so cute.
I love her.
And then I like this because this is clearly like he knows he's better and he's just lying when he's talking to Bellatrix. You think he is mistaken or that I have somehow hoodwinked him, fooled the Dark Lord, the greatest wizard, the most accomplished legilimens the world has ever seen? Mr. Snape, you know that's not true because you're the best.
Even though you suck.
How did he get that way? Got to train, right? Train your
Yes.
mind up.
I mean, he'd had to.
Yeah. Do you think you're also born with like that ability?
Yeah.
Queenie
I would
was.
think so.
Queenie, I feel like she doesn't even have to try.
I think
she's just like a boss.
Like we talked about earlier, having like different levels. You can be born with it, and then you can be born with the ability to like able to do it, where you just have to like hone your skill more.
Kind of like divination.
Yeah.
Divination.
All right.
Fan story?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Fan
Please
story.
tell us about some fans.
Tell me about a fan.
This comes from Allison Ray. She says, the first movie came out when I was 5, and a magical babysitter introduced me to it one night. She brought it over, put it on, and I was glued to it. I begged her to put it on repeat, begged my parents to buy it for me, begged for the toys, begged for the books. I saw a lot of myself in Harry, in the way that I've grown up under less than great parenthood, was sassy as heck, and sought solace in 2 best friends, which happened to be my siblings. It's every kid's dream to be whisked away by magic, and Harry Potter gave that to me. I forever hold on to the lessons he taught me of bravery and love, and am a proud Hufflepuff. Yeah, shout out. It took me a while to read the books, but once I did, I haven't stopped. I'm thankful to be able to listen to y'all on car rides and feeling like the magic is everywhere. I recently played Sorcerer's Stone for the kids I babysit and reminisced as we hid under the blankets in the fire scene with Harry and Quirrell because it was so scary. Harry Potter is a part of me that will never change. Don't let the muggles get you down. I think this is so cool because Harry Potter, like, we are the generation that is passing this down to other generations.
Yeah.
And
Create those little Potterheads.
it's
Came
insane.
full circle.
My
It's very
cousins,
cute.
this is a couple, maybe 2 summers ago, were reading it. And it's like, oh, you're reading Harry Potter? And they were like, yeah, have you read it? And I was like, yeah, I have. I'm like, I've read all of them.
I was at
I've
the
been like,
start.
So they were kind of getting like, oh, do you know this? And I was like, looking back, I'm like, ooh, I probably shouldn't have been such like a jerk. I was like, yeah, I do know it. I know all about
How
Harry
old
Potter.
are they? And how old were you at the
At
time?
the time, it was like 2 years
There
ago.
was like, this was yesterday.
They were like, I was old enough at the age
To know
of
better.
25, and they're like 10, 13, something like that. Like, I should have just been like, I love that you're reading those. It's so great. But I was
Right.
like, no, I know all about Harry Potter. You want to hear something? Spoiler alert, he dies. Wah. I didn't say that to them. I'm not that mean, but I was like,
Sarah.
I was like, oh my God, you're reading it. And then I was like, let's talk about it. But they were like,
Being
no.
kids.
Yeah.
They were being
Yeah.
sassy.
And so I was sassy back, and then I was like, ooh, my bad.
Well, thank
It's just
you,
cool.
Allison,
Yes.
Yes,
for your
thank you.
story.
So make sure that you use our pinned post on Facebook to use for discussion on this episode. Post your questions and comments, and anybody can respond and answer, and we will be sure to reach out as well. So go find us on Facebook where we're most active and like our page to get all the latest info. We are Swish and Flick Podcast on Facebook or Swish Flick Cast on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. Find us and follow us on Patreon. By supporting us on Patreon, it only helps us to be able to provide you with better content more often. We reached our first goal and are on to our second, which is to be able to get better equipment to do vlogs for you. So head on over to www.patreon.com/swishflickcast and support your favorite Potter podcast.
The best.
Yeah. And keep sending us your Potter stories.
Yes.
Potter
Yes.
profiles. All of
Funny
that.
stories,
Anything.
thoughts.
Yep. Memes.
Just message us to talk. We like it.
Also, suggestions. If you have like, ooh, I really want to hear about this, and like say,
For Felix File.
yeah, we
Yeah.
will talk about anything and everything. Potter, Wizarding World, J.K. Rowling.
Yeah. So our
Even cursed child.
even
It is part
Kirsten,
of it.
you're right.
We guess.
A lot of the bonus content where we stray away from the chapter rereads, that's going to come on our
Patreon.
Patreon for our Felix Files. What level? Is it
Bowtruckle and higher.
Bowtruckle and higher get access to the Felix Files. Are there three Felix?
No, there's like 4.
4?
Right now, there's 4.
4.
Um,
We just had one come out a couple days
there
ago.
might be 5 out by the time you guys hear this. I'm not sure. Somewhere around there. But we're going to be releasing 2 Felix files a month for everybody.
Lots of bonus content on there. All right, so that concludes this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening, and don't let the muggles get you down.
Amazing! Just my voice!
What do you call an alligator in a vest? An investigator.
Oh my gosh!
It was horrible.
You gotta make a tissue dance.
Put a boogie in it.
Put a little boogie in it.